Hey, welcome to CEO Check-In. Why is it that my cat always starts to go crazy right when it's time for CEO Check-In? Ripley, calm down, take a seat. Hope you're doing great today. It's going to be a really fun CEO Check-In because we have a guest, Heather Willems, who is a very talented visual artist. And some of you know her work from Million Dollar Women because she did all of the illustrations for Million Dollar Women and is a terrific speaker, visual strategist, businesswoman, friend. I'm just really excited for our conversation about how we can be using images to tell our story better. You know that in the Million Dollar Women community, we're big on helping our women. Oh, hey guys. Hi, Rabia. Hi, B. Hi, Maddie. Hi, Heather. Welcome. In the Million Dollar Women community, we're big on helping women become thought leaders and amp up their thought leadership. And one of the great ways of doing that is to share statistics and visuals and writing that you've done that shows how you are contributing to your industry and your field. So Heather's going to help us think about some of those things. She's also the author of Draw Your Big Idea, this awesome book, which helps you to plan out your business in a really fun visual way. I am a total spreadsheet geek, as some of you know, and I love my Excel spreadsheets or my Google spreadsheets, but not everybody does, I have found out. And so it turns out that if you're more of a visual creative person, something like this, I also loved using this and learned to draw stick figures, which I never knew how to do before, so thank you, Heather, for that. This could be a great tool for you if you're reinventing your business or launching your business. It's called Draw Your Big Idea by Heather Willems. So we're going to bring Heather on in a minute, and then you'll have a chance to ask her questions. She and I will have a conversation about how to use visuals to enhance your creativity, your business, etc. And you'll have a chance to ask questions too. But first, the Go Big tip. So my Go Big tip for today is to find what works for you in planning your business. Everybody has a different style, and some people love to plan in a visual way with a whiteboard or drawing out with a marker how their business works. Some people like to write up a business plan. Some people like to break out the Excel spreadsheet like me and map out, how many customers do I need? So find what works for you, but do strategize and plan in your business. Find a tool that gets you excited, that makes you feel joyful about planning, and use that to map out where you can go. The reason this is a Go Big tip is we find that entrepreneurs sometimes skip this part of mapping out how big their business could be. And it's often because they don't use the right tool. They are using tools that they don't love. Like if you're not an Excel spreadsheet person and someone tells you do a unit analysis of how big your company can be, well, you might just not get around to doing it. And if you're a visual person, you might need to draw it out, right? Or maybe make a collage of where your business can go. So the tip is find something that works for you and embrace it and plan out the strategy for your business. We always love to share in our community that if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there, which is a quote from Alice in Wonderland from the Cheshire Cat. So don't take any old road, figure out where you're going, and map out your road to get there. All right, now, without further ado, I'm excited to bring on Heather Willems. If you're just joining us, she is a visual strategist, entrepreneur, speaker, talented illustrator who did all the illustrations for my book, Million Dollar Women, and the author of Draw Your Big Idea. So Heather, let's bring you on here and see how you're doing today. She's also the mom of the beautiful wife of Liam. All right, come on, Internet, you can do this. It's only Brooklyn. You can do this. Bring on Heather. Hey, Bianca. Good to have you with us. Okay, Heather is coming on. It says connecting. Hi, Lori. Hi, Dara. Hi, ASA.92. Welcome. And today, if you're just joining us, we are talking about how to use visuals and visual strategy in your business. If you're thinking right now about what kind of visuals could I be posting to social media, or how do I tell my story on my website, or how do I communicate more quickly to people what we're all about, maybe having the right visuals is the solution to that. Right now at Million Dollar Women, we are working on our theory of change, which if you haven't heard that term, it comes out of the nonprofit world. And it's about how you map out visually what is the change you're trying to make in the world and how is your organization contributing to that. And we're very excited to share that soon. Let's see. I think Heather is working her way on. We're going to try that one more time. Here we go. Heather said connecting, but then I'm here. So excited to join the conversation. Good. We're excited too. Here we go. Going live. We're going to try that again. Instagram Live doesn't always cooperate. Let's see. We have a question. Oh, there you are. Awesome. We started getting questions. Oh, happy to see you, Heather. How are you?
Good. So good to see you.
Good to see you too. How's it going today?
Good. Good. It's hot, but I know there's lots of different types of female entrepreneurs out here, so you'll appreciate today's the first day we started our pod family. So.
Oh, wait, I didn't catch all that because there was a little delay. Today's the first day you started your one more time?
I've got the whole apartment to myself today because we started our potting. So,
oh, great. So Pyrrha's with someone else right now, your daughter?
Yes, we started up kind of like just kind of community learning. So I'm super excited.
That. That's so cool.
I know.
So you got the whole house to yourself. Awesome. We don't have to share you, although I would have loved to see Pyrrha. We'll do that another time.
Yeah.
So so excited to have you on. And we've collaborated on a bunch of things, and every time I have a visual question, I always go straight to you, like, wait, how's your one? So tell us a little bit what you do for people who are new to what is visual strategy, and then we'll jump into it.
Yeah, well, the overarching is that with clarity through creativity, we in Two Line Studio, we help leaders and their teams come together to reflect on their core issues, to get curious so they can collaborate on solving those really big problems. And so creativity and drawing is the key to all of this in my business.
So how do you do that? Like, people bring you in and then they present something that they're chewing on and trying to figure out, and you draw it out, or what does that look like?
There's a couple different ways that we do it. So one way is exactly that, like what we've done for the $1 Million Women's Summit.
Yes,
and speakers and panelists are sharing incredible content, and actually I've started doing it virtually as well. So in virtual meetings,
oh, amazing.
Folks are talking, and so my team is there to literally draw what's being said. So we're really, really good at synthesizing big ideas.
Let's pause there a second, because for folks who've never been to the summit, they may not know what we're talking about. I just want to fill in the gap that while we were hosting our live summit, Heather, one year, and another year a colleague did it, we're standing at a huge whiteboard drawing in real time what we were saying. So you know how a simultaneous translator can be listening to someone speaking Spanish and then English is coming out of their mouth? Well, Heather has that superpower. She takes words, right, with your pen. Words are being spoken, and Heather can turn those into drawings in real time, as she and her team. It's really, really cool. And a lot of people may never have seen it, Heather, so I just want them to get a sense of what we're talking about.
Yeah, so it's basically, we're creating a real-time visual summary that can be used to heighten engagement in the moment, but then also used as my clients right now are using them on social media to get people re-engaged in the videos.
Oh, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
so the visual reminds people to go watch the videos.
Exactly. And it gives a snapshot of everything that happened during the conversation. Actually, we should do one of this after. Snapshot of everything that's said during the conversation, so people can decide if they're going to engage and, investing their time in the whole video. It's pretty cool.
Very cool. I love that. Okay, so that was one way, and you were going to say
that's one way.
Too.
Yep. And then the other way that I'm just loving helping folks is working with their teams in these collaborative sessions. So business owners, whether you're at the, the corporate level or you're just starting your business, the problems are the same, right? Don't you find that a lot of the problems are the same? They're just at a different scale.
Yes. So you're not managing one person, you're managing 10 people, but you still need to keep them engaged. You still need to get everybody involved in solving problems. You're absolutely right.
Exactly. So I work with the leaders, the visionary leaders, to help them just distill down what the core issue is, like what the root of the problem is. And then we map out, actually, I'm going to talk about it today. We like envision what the outcome is going to be from these incredible meetings. And then we work backwards to design the session and fill it with different activities and modules that get the team involved and collaborating to like solve some of these really tough issues.
I love that. And do people have to be like creative visual people to get it, or can anybody do this?
Well, I would say that everybody does have creativity and everybody is visionary.
Oh, nice.
I do, because like,
even my bookkeeper, who would say she's not a visual creative person.
Yes, but if she's using a spreadsheet, like that's her way of visualizing it. But we all start out scribbling and drawing before we can write. If we can write our name, we're able to draw. And so another thing that I do is like, I'm loving leading workshops. And one of the topics that I lead is like helping people to visualize their big ideas by drawing them out. And it's really built upon things that we already know, like using punctuation to create emojis and express emotion, right? What? I mean, we're programmed as humans
to use visuals. That's true. Emojis have been like a great addition to the language that we all use every day. And do you use this in your workshop to draw your big idea?
I do. It's the foundation for everything that I lead. It might, it definitely deviates from the book, but it's definitely the foundation. Because what we did in writing the book is, with my business, we traveled all around the world working with Fortune 100 leaders, doing their strategy sessions, like everything from, just like mind mapping out and coming up with new big ideas, to creating marketing strategies, to creating like 5-year plans for like massive organizations. So we looked and we're like, dang, we got like a lot of experience here.
This is something we should share with more people.
I know. And like, my job was to go in and like make it visual. Like, how do we bring in the creativity into these sessions? Because people like you have so much fun working on the spreadsheet, but not everybody does.
I know. I've had to learn that the hard way. I'm always like, go make a spreadsheet, and people's eyes don't light up the way I expect they will.
I know, but I think I'm kind of getting off topic, but one of the things is like, we bring in everybody's different skill sets, and you meet people where they're at.
Totally. I love that about you, because you work with tiny companies, huge companies, you have a lot of versatility. And I'm curious, like, what would you say to someone who is reinventing right now? Because one of the reasons I wanted to have you on is that, we have entrepreneurs who were doing great before the pandemic, live coaching, live teaching, doing things live. And now all of a sudden they have to completely reinvent. How could some of the tools that you teach to Fortune 100 companies or to even smaller companies help someone who's right in the middle of that process right now?
Well, I think I definitely want to talk about like how to, come up with a great, visualize your strategy. But I think honestly, like the way in asking that question, the first thing is actually finding that peace and calm within yourself. So you're able to find the focus and make those, make decisions from a place of calm. And so I think I told you about this. My friend Gary Ware and I have this workshop that we're doing. It's called Playing with Fear.
I saw that online. That looks so cool.
Yeah, there's an article that was written. I'm going to I'm going to like promote it tomorrow. But we're doing another workshop in 2 weeks, and it's using drawing as a way to find your center, find your calm, find your focus. And Gary comes from a space of doing improv, and he's also an incredible coach. Forgive me, it's the NPL.
Oh, the one I'm trained in, NLP.
Yeah.
Neuro-linguistic
NLP.
Programming. Yes.
Yep.
Love
So
it.
he brings that into the mix, and it's really great. But the first thing is like finding that peace and calm, so you can identify your strengths, stand in your power, and make decisions from a place of clarity. Then I think like in that transition point, you want to come with me? I want to show you.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Take us with you. And while you do that, let me invite our viewers to ask questions in the comments if you have questions for Heather.
Totally.
Oh, take us over there. Awesome. What's
I know.
that?
So I made this is my new office in my apartment.
It's great. Of course, it's like super colorful and creative. I love it.
Yeah. But so I just started to like map out like what a visual strategy could look like for the folks who are not like you, who just like sit down and do a spreadsheet. I'm so envious. I wish I could do that. But like
I wish I could draw like you. So that's why we need to collaborate.
But my process is like, I'll start out with like all of my big crazy ideas will go here, right? Like they're the ones, like all of those, like, I don't know, maybe I'll write a children's book or, whatever the new idea
like all
is.
ideas are good. Just put them all
All ideas are good. As many as you can go up on the first chart. Then you start to synthesize and you start to focus in what are really the ideas that are going to bring me closer to my purpose, like to like really tap into the meaning in the work that I'm doing, and also are going to start to generate some revenue, like what's possible, what's feasible, right? And then, everybody, if you haven't signed up for Julia's workshops, do it.
We're all about women making more money. So yeah, the what's going to make money part is where I come in.
Perfect. Well, talk to
Julia
Julia about
I'm loving this journey. Okay, so then what happens?
So then we figure out you have a really crystal clear idea of what that money-making idea is, and make sure it's a SMART goal. So is that backwards for you? But it's
It is. So it says SMART. That's a SMART goal.
Okay, perfect. So it's a SMART goal. It's measurable, timely, all of the things. And then I know we've had conversations about this a lot, Julia, but also like connecting what the emotion is going to be with that. Yes, once you have figured it out, right. So like figuring out what that very tangible goal is, putting the emotion to it, that how you're going to feel in the future. So then the exercise is you stand in that place of the future where you're like, you've already received all of the gifts. You have everything you need. And then you look back and you're like, dang, how did I get here? Like, what were those milestones that I hit in the way to get here? And so you write out all those big milestones. And, we've talked about this, like when we're coaching, is to really like, what is the milestone where it was a turning point? You're like, oh man, if I didn't hit that one thing, it never would have led me down this path. If I hadn't joined this network and met all of these people, if I hadn't gotten that line of credit, whatever that one thing is, like you think about those milestones and then start to map those out. I have this one's just about finances, but it's about like, closing deals for October, for Q3.
I love looking at this.
Breaking it down.
I bet a lot of people watching are thinking, well, I'd much rather look at that every day than open up the spreadsheet. So is this something people can do at home, Heather? Or how could they do something like this?
Yeah, absolutely. And so even with the spreadsheet, like my mapping out, like I do with I'm in a mastermind group, as you are as well. And we do everything in spreadsheets, but I have to take it home and I have to make it visual because it's the thing that gets me excited when I wake up in the morning and I'm like, ooh, I get to check this box.
Right. So you actually work with the spreadsheet, but then you customize it so that it's something that gives you joy. We froze a minute, but I was just summing up and saying that you don't throw the spreadsheet out the window, which I'm happy to hear, but you then customize it to something that makes you happy, that brings you joy, that gets you excited to keep moving and building that dream.
Yep, absolutely. So I do this in the physical space so I can move things around physically, but when I'm actually mapping it for my business, it has to go into a spreadsheet. So it's other people can read it, it can be tracked. It can be measured.
So it's both. So. It's really both. I love that. Good. I'm glad you're not getting rid of my spreadsheets. Thank you for that. We did get a question that I want to ask you because I want to make sure people's questions get answered. So Bianca, who's in our community, has a training, like a gym that people are doing from home. It was in person, but now she's training people via Zoom. It's called Body Positive Boot Camp. And she's really ramped up her social media during this time, which is fantastic. But she's gotten mixed feedback about like the visuals that she's chosen for her Instagram, and she's like, how do I know who to listen to? Which is such an interesting question, right? Because visual taste is so personal, and we have to make these decisions for our businesses of like how, and now more than ever, it's important, right? Because our digital media presence is our entire presence right now. We're not meeting anybody in person. So what would you say to someone who doesn't have the confidence that you have of like, yeah, this looks great, I like it, I'm using this? How do people decide what visuals to go with, what to ditch, how to play around?
Well, the confidence that I've gotten has come from years and years of experience and testing. But kind of like a fast way to get through that testing, especially now, we need to make decisions really quickly. I would, it's about, it's like brand identity, and there's exercises in the book about that as well. But it's really like imagining your ideal customer, like who is the perfect body positive boot camp client. Pick 3 of those people, or even more, at least 3, and then ask them, just go out and ask them, say, hey, I've got a 1-minute question for you. What do you think? A, B, or C? Take that information and take it to heart and test it out. And if it's not the right decision and you're getting feedback that it still is not quite right, then just change it.
That is great advice. And, in Masterclass, we ask women to do their customer avatars. So it's exactly what you're talking about, right? It's like, go dig up that customer avatar that you did in Masterclass, and then maybe reach out to 1 or 2 people who each fit your 3 customer avatars and see if they like it. Because I think behind Bianca's question is, of course, I don't want to turn off potential customers. At the same time, we're probably always going to turn off somebody, right? Like, people just have very different visual styles, and you can't please everyone. So I think the message there is like, make sure you're asking for feedback from people who are either current, past, or potential customers, and not just like your mom's friend who doesn't like the color yellow. Why is there so much yellow? Or like, I have a pet peeve, Heather, about white writing on yellow background. Like, I don't know why people ever do that. It is so hard to read.
Contrast.
It drives me crazy, right? That's so hard to read, isn't it? White on yellow. Never do that.
It's all about contrast. It's one of the basics I go over in the visual, in the visual workshops I do.
Oh, you do? Oh, good. So you do teach people some of these basics, because of course you have a whole art background and training, and so you do give people kind of the one-on-one so they can make good decisions, it sounds like.
Yes. I mean, one of the workshops is around doing the visual, creating the visuals and having the confidence holding the marker. But yes.
Because you've trained a lot of people in your method, right? Like, you created a very signature style. And, we teach women to scale up, $1 million women. And you and I are both creatives, so we have that in common, right? I was a filmmaker, and we both had to figure out how do we take our visual training and turn it into something that can actually monetize. So I love that what you did is you not only started getting paid really top dollar to do your creative work, but then you figured out, wait a minute, I have a bit of a secret sauce, but I can teach this to other people. Tell us a bit about that. Like, what was your decision to not just always have people hire you, but to train other people?
Oh, well, it really came down to, in my Image Thanka's partner, I had a partner, Nora Herding. And so what happened is we both got sick at the same time. We both got really, like, I had
flu type thing back in the day?
No, I had thyroid cancer. So I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. It was a long time ago. I'm fine. Everything's fine. Okay. And she also was diagnosed with a pretty serious condition. And we realized, like, man, if we're not doing the work, we're not bringing in money. So we just quickly realized we have something together that, our style is similar enough that we're able to, go in and out of the business. Like, we can dissect this, figure out what it is, and train other people to do it. And it's such a great process to do that, to like teach somebody else. You learn, you understand your own business so much better.
That's so true. They always say that if you want to really understand something deeply, then teach it to someone else, right? Because
absolutely.
You're forced to distill it down. And we have a lot of women watching right now, as I see their names in the chat here, who are right in the process of doing that, who never imagined they would have to do it, but now with the pandemic, right, they're having to come up with all new business models and train people in what they do. And so what was like something that was like surprisingly fun and something that was kind of hard and you had to get past? About training, about training other people in your method.
Well, I think one thing that was just really fun was to figure out like, oh, there is a method to this madness. You know, coming from I feel like forming the business was kind of like we created it like an art project. It's like, oh, this is a project. Like, how do you put on a gallery exhibition? Great, let's do that with a business, and that's actually the format we use for the book as well. So it was fun to see those parallels in different parts of my life, you know, that applied to business that also came from the creative side. Something that was difficult is it's kind of like making sure that the quality is up to your standards. And so, you know, getting really comfortable with being very clear, getting comfortable with being decisive, and being comfortable with telling people what you need and expect and want.
Until you get the result that you want, right? Because I'm sure there were times when you hadn't quite mastered that, where someone would do something in a way that you weren't that comfortable with, but then you didn't want to have the hard conversation.
Yep. So it's having those difficult conversations, and sometimes the clients will have them for you. You know, they'll say like, "Wow, this isn't up to par. We were expecting X, and we got Y. You need to come in and fix it." And so then you look at your profitability, and you're like, oh, "Okay, I'm just going to throw that one out the window."
Well, right, because you're trying to outsource it and make a little money on the top, and if you have to come in and fix it, then not so much. But thank you for sharing that, because I think that's where a lot of women are right now today, is I'm trying to teach people to do this. It's hard to let go, right? We all are like driven perfectionists to some degree, and then we have to let go in order to grow our businesses and train other people.
The only way to grow is that you can't do it yourself. You know, it's finding those resources.
And I'm going to shift gears a little bit since we have to end soon. What's something you've learned about yourself during the pandemic?
What did I learn about myself? You know, coming out of the pandemic, what I started to realize is like this sense of like purpose and meaning started to come very clearly. And, you know, there's like a loud voice that kind of keeps singing in my ear, like when I'm sleeping and in the shower or doing anything about, you know, the new direction that I'm moving in. So,
what is
just
that?
like
how would you characterize what that is?
Well, I think it's really moving in and, you know, supporting teams like through this clarity through creativity methodology, and helping people to dive deep into the real issues and getting people to collaborate to find solutions.
I love that.
And it's also like, I'm also finding it's not necessarily on the corporate scale, but also on the individual level. I love it so much.
Well, you love what you do, and that's one of the things we love about you, is you take such joy in helping people to use creativity and drawing to get to their clarity, and you've helped me so much in our community, so hugely, hugely grateful. You've been at every single summit. You're usually standing right next to me in the picture, right?
Yeah, I think all of them. Yeah.
I think all of them, which is great. Yeah. So next year we're going to be back in person, we hope. But tell us, is there anything you'd like to leave our women with in terms of what they could be thinking about for their own businesses with using visuals, getting clarity? Of course, they should all get your book, right? Draw Your Big Idea.
Yeah, definitely.
How can they follow you? What else could they do as a next step?
Well, you can follow me here, Heather @_Willems would be a great place. And then also at twolinestudios.com. You can find it through the links. And I think the thing that I'm most excited about is, like, you know, you're talking about working through these uncertain times. Like, come on over, keep an eye out. Like, Gary and I are doing another workshop. It's going to be really fun. You're going to learn some of the tools that I was talking about today in a way that is going to be very natural and fun to help you, like, find that focus and clarity.
Oh, very cool. So you'll be advertising that on your Instagram. They can find it there.
Yep. Excellent. It's on August 14th.
Oh yeah, well that's coming right up. That's awesome.
Yep.
And so for anybody watching who is realizing, hey, wait, I'm a visual person. That's really what lights me up. Come on over into Heather's world so she can help you out with that.
Yeah, I'd love it. I'd love
Heather,
it.
it was so good to see you today. What a great way to start my Wednesday. Well, not start. I've been up since 6. You probably have 2. You have a 3-year-old. Is she 3 or how old is she now? How old's Kira?
She's very proud to tell you she's 3.5.
3.5. Okay, I was close, but I know that half makes a big difference at that age. So
yeah,
forgive me, Pira, but give her a hug from me.
I will.
And big virtual hug to you. I miss you. I know. I
Me
can't believe I
too.
can see you. Hopefully we'll be out having drinks soon. We'll make that happen somehow. Anyway, Mom, thank you for taking the time. Bye, Heather.
Bye.
Thanks again for coming on. Bye.
Thanks, everybody, for listening.
And please go find Heather at her Instagram handle. Such fun to bring on some of my friends who are million-dollar women who've built multi-million-dollar companies, who found ways to take their passion and their creativity and turn it into a business. Heather, like me, has reinvented several times. You know, I'm on my 4th career. She had the company she mentioned with Nora. Now she has a whole new company. So, you know, if you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed by the reinvention that you're having to do right now, please know it is a well-traveled path. And we're all going to make it work somehow, some way. I will leave you with this. Like Heather, I want you to focus on what lights you up, what's your purpose, what do you want to accomplish in the world, and please give yourself a break and don't get too stuck on what we call in our community the how. And the how is, well, how am I going to make money at this? How am I going to deliver these products and services? How am I ever going to make up for the lost income? Those kinds of questions can drive you nuts. And I'm not saying you don't have to figure out the how, but we sometimes get too fixated on figuring out all the ins and outs of how we're going to make something happen instead of dwelling in the possibility, dreaming the big dreams, reaching out to create partnerships, reaching out to past clients to check in on them, all the things we need to do to keep our businesses moving. So if you find yourself going down that rabbit hole of like, well, how am I going to do this? And how's it going to work? And how am I going to make money? Please just shift gears. Thank you for the hearts who's ever sending them. I think you've been there. And move into an exercise that we do a lot in our community called What Could Go Right? Just take a big piece of paper and write at the top of it what could go right. If you're Heather, take a big blue Sharpie because that'd be fun for her. Use Post-its, whatever you need to do, draw some things and map out what could go right. And then you'll find the how will follow. All right, thanks so much for joining me for CEO Check-In. I hope I will see you on Monday when we have our next CEO Check-In. And in the meantime, have a fantastic Wednesday. Thank you for joining us, Heather. Thank you all for being here with me. And I'll see you soon. Stay brave and go big.